And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to APAC North. Again, it's Cloud9 playing up against Guts Gaming. Cannot wait to see what goes down in this game, as right now, Guts, you would have thought a week ago they might have been able to run away with some free points, but Cloud9 have fought back. They've defeated Fnatic in max OT in our last Playday, and we talk so much about things in detail, which is exactly what we're going to do here. Just a moment. Hello, I'm Milos, host of the show. With me are Hap and Jess, my experts on the analyst desk. And how about we have a chat first up with Guts Gaming. There's a bit of a story I want to mention with C9 in a moment. I'll give them a bit more time on that. But there it is, Guts Gaming and the squad currently in 6th place with 4 points. It's going to be still a tough ride up to the top 4 if they could reach it.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing. Are they going to be able to reach it? Currently, they're 2 points away. It is doable, but at the same time, they're also 1 point away from the bottom floor of it. So, you know, today is going to be that day where we will see a clear division to be made for who's going to be ending on the top and who's going to be ending on the bottom. And, well, if Cloud9 really manage to come back from the way they did, it's going to be very difficult for them to take out a full win here. I think they might have to worry a little bit.
A lot of things to keep in mind here for Guts Gaming, and yeah, it's going to be a rough ride anyways, but it's again Cloud9 against them. On the other side, we're not really sure how to, at least I am not sure how to place Cloud9 right now with my host knowledge, I guess. On the other side, Jess, C9 beat Fnatic out of nowhere.
I'm not sure how to analyze this. I know people have been listening to me being very critical of that win based off the fact that it was on Coastline, a map where chaos can oftentimes reign supreme, and I think that's exactly what Cloud9 have used. A lot of the Cloud9 and Korean fans out there is, you know, looking to solidify whether or not that is the top dog spot they're looking to go back to. There's no possible way for them to get back to it, but to confirm on the roster that you're seeing on the screen, Nova, who is their usual support, has taken a couple of days of break, and as a result it will be Oni-chan stepping in. Oni-chan's their coach, and if you don't know who Oni-chan is, oh my goodness, I do, because all the way back in 2018 he was a player for Mantis, Element Mystic. I mean, this man is a very experienced coach, and I think it's part of the reason why Cloud9 has performed so well in the past year is because they've got such an experienced coach behind them. So for him to step in and play, I was really surprised actually. He had a lot of confidence in that last game, so good on him. And
I wonder if that was not kind of the mindset that Cloud9 wanted to get into.
Maybe he had a lot of calls, IGLing too, I don't know, it's guessing.
That's what you often see with coaches, right? Yeah. Like, they know the strategy in and out, but their job also is to keep sure that well, you probably know more of that than me, but to keep sure that the mentality stays in check. And it's easier to do that from inside, when you're playing than having to do with one timeout. So, you know, maybe that is what made them stick. It's just so unfortunate because Nova was on top of the leaderboard if you look at the combined standings.
And the plants as well.
And
I mean, not to say that Oni-chan can't plant, but he was playing more Hibana role. It's Coastline. I'm not going to analyze his role. I'm taking it back. Cancel out the role analysis.
We'll find out. Unless we go to Coastline again, then it would be...
Uh-oh.
you see Dez's face. I'm not having any of this. How about we talk then about our head-to-head? One player out of each one of these 2 teams you guys picked out. Let's see who these people are. And it's going to be MV Taylor and Marieux. Jess, what is the comparison that we're looking for here, please?
I did want to pick up Marieux for a particular reason, and I'm literally trying to scroll so that I'm getting that exact reason so I don't misquote myself. I know it's 180 tabs when you're an analyst and 700 Excel sheets. Welcome to my life. I'm not sure. Hap, you're just going to have to go on the other side of it whilst I find my stat. Talk about MV Taylor for just a single second when I bring it up.
I think MV Taylor didn't have the best season yet. He's supposed to be the top fragger of Cloud9, and he's often known as the one who makes the plays, who opens up the sites for the rest to clear it out. But so far, we have not seen that much of it yet. Him and Shao together, I believe previous season together they would be on around plus 40. Now they're together minus 14, so not really going too well. And of course, if you lose this many games, it's not really going to be having an opportunity to be positive. And you saw in the previous game against Coastline, you saw MV Taylor going back to a little bit of that former glory, opening up the site. Let's see if he can do more of that today.
I worked it out. I worked
What
out
was it?
exactly the statistic I wanted to compare. It's not on the screen right now because I didn't have time to request it, but it was the clutches that both of these players could pull out of the bag at the last second. Both of them are on the leaderboard of the top 5 at the moment. It's not a lot. It's only 2 apiece, but when the biggest player for clutches is Yas on 4, it's not too shabby at all. We're not all the way through the stage. So for me so far, I'm happy that they can be that last line of defense. It's just a little bit of a pity that it comes down to those moments of them having to... Whew. Mariu's a very experienced player. He's also
always.
Oh, yeah, I can't. No, don't remind me. Don't remind me.
She got knocked out by him.
Man.
Sorry,
Well, you gotta
people
do it
need
like
context.
that.
Why you got to do
People
this?
got to need context. We cannot say, don't remind me of him, and then...
Border, man. Mariu back on border.
Okay.
6 invitational.
Speaking of maps, how about we bring them up and see which map we're going to be playing on in this series? No border, actually. It's been a while since we've seen
Why did they ban
border and
Coastline?
comp play, but
Oh, no. Cafe.
at least they got it out of here. Cafe Dostoyevsky is our last one. C9 starting on the attack with Guts on defense. I'll just let you know our lobby is set and ready to go. So your thoughts on how this would go, operators that we need to look at, or players, etc. What are your thoughts?
Envy Taylor and Shao need to be back in former glory. That way, they're going to be able to open up stuff together. Those two are playing for 3 if they play together. That is basically how you can put it. So if they manage to get back in as they used to, it should be an opportunity for Cloud9.
Well, both of these teams, last time they played Cafe, they both played against Talon. One won against Talon, one lost, and the loser was unfortunately Guts. So maybe that bodes another story for how they perform on this particular map. I'm not sure. I guess inter-regionally or sub-inter-regionally, both of these teams are struggling a little bit on the map, so we'll see.
There's a lot to be tested today for both of these teams, and we want to make sure, hey, look, if we're going to get behind that comeback train from Cloud9, we've got to be dedicated for it. I want to see what goes down here between Cloud9 and Guts Gaming. Our third matchup is about to go live. We're going to go to, well, snowy Russia for this one. It's Cafe Dostoyevsky, and we have our casters ready. It is Ace and Des. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Milos. We've got a risk taker on the desk with us today because you were the only one of us that predicted that Guts might walk away the winner. Ace, what on earth has led to that going through your skull?
Well, that's just me there rolling the dice, Des. You know, the thing is, look, Cloud9, they've not been great so far. As Jess pointed out, I think the map played in a lot to their win against Fnatic. Does that happen on another map? Maybe not. So, coming in here, I don't see them as Cloud9. Yep, you're back. You've just beat Fnatic. I see them as Cloud9 question mark still, for me.
Yeah.
So I think I'll take the chance. You know, sometimes you've got to be the one that just goes out there. That's what's going to bump me up in them percentages, then.
Yeah, got to take a gamble sometimes, mate. I mean,
Got to do it.
you got the one coming back on me after the last game, that's for sure. Cloud9 is still a question mark. I completely agree with you on that point. But for me, Guts have also been one throughout the stage. They had their really first good day and they thought, oh, that's it. They're going to rise up. They'll overtake Fav. They'll be the competitor to Cyclops. And then sadly, it all fell away pretty quickly. Bans coming out nice and quick, though. First one going to start with Guts taking away the Flores, something that Mariu has liked quite a bit over the last few weeks.
Something that many players have liked a lot over the last few weeks. We've spoken about Flores' power. Jess did a nice breakdown of Flores' power, of course, and he is really, really multifunctional at the minute, and we will see him go Nomad along with, so that will free up for maybe a little bit of aggression, not necessarily outside of the map, we might see it a little bit, but just for those rotations as well within the map, allowing the roamers a little bit of freedom to move around floor to floor.
The interesting one for me is I was watching Sky's VOD review yesterday of some NAL games, and he was watching teams bring along Zero, bring along DeKB, and be like, why aren't you bringing the Nomad? Like on this map, she's just so good at holding off those flanks. She can double air jab certain stairways and make it an absolute terror for any would-be roamers to come and have an influence. And clearly, that has been read into. But Cloud9 do like running the Zero, so I wonder if this is trying to kind of segue them into playing the Zero because Guts feel like they have an answer. Final two bans going to be the Melusi and the Valkyrie. We spoke about them quite a bit in the pre-show, Melusi especially, losing about 20% of her pick rate between stages so far. The small change to a Banshee coming in, that when you're inside its radius, the center opens up and you can now shoot it out. So don't have to destroy it with, for example, Zophia's impacts or getting in close range to melee it.
Round number one, we will be loading into soon. We've got Bar and Cocktail as our site of choice for Guts to get us under the way on defence. Now, I've spoken about Bar and Cocktail a couple of times. Here in the APAC region, it's not too bad for the defenders. They do okay here, but we have seen it sort of slipping in its popularity for defence. So, well, I say slipping in popularity. It hasn't really slipped in popularity. It's slipped in success, particularly in EU. I know definitely the fact that it's slipped in success for EU, and it's still a first choice site. I'm not sure how long that's going to remain for, whether we'll maybe see a little bit of a meta shift towards reading perhaps, or down to kitchen, but quite often reading is a very, very good defensive site.
And looking at the setup on the defensive side, speaking of which, this is a very dug-in setup coming out of Guts, when you've got the Jaeger and the Wamai, that duo that together paired with the Goyo, naturally designed to protect shields, to lock down key locations, and Pixel and Bathroom is 100% going to be that lockdown. This is now feeling a lot more like the norm, by the way, seeing the left-hand wall reinforced out of storage into Piano, the right-hand one left soft. Some teams will then deploy down, for example, a shield, and use that as kind of a dummy mirror window. It's not so much a mirror window for you, but it is a strong place that you can play with a little bit of information being fed back and forth. And I imagine with the shield on light, that's going to be positioned around that sort of position. So a very dug-in setup. It's not quite the full cigar shop hole with the Aruni and the castle that quite a lot of teams are starting to employ these days. It's a little more reserved from Guts, but still a very solid, strong defensive line.
Shayo not quite on top of the roof yet, along with the rest of his team. They've all headed up there to start trying to apply pressure. What we're likely to see from the attackers is a push simply from the rooftop, get themselves in, established in the top of the red stairs, get themselves into Piano, and push across from west to east side. But the east side is always the question that needs to be answered by the attackers. The defenders will be forced back there onto Cocktail and Cocktail Balcony most likely, and that's where their sort of last stand will often come from as the defence is pushed back and back. And once they get to that stage, it's not always the easiest to root them out.
Euro's a player that we speak about a lot for Guts, by the way. He's always been one of the big entry killers for the side. First couple of kills in a round. Isn't uncommon to see him being the one walking away with those kills, and he will be one of the first ones being challenged playing around this Pixel angle. In their game on Wednesday, he was kept very quiet. I think he ended at like 7-13 or something at the end of the game. So definitely wasn't one of his best performances. They had an answer to him every single time. Round comes the shock drone there from the Twitch, but unable to collect the Goyo shield. So quite a battle at the moment so far for Cloud9, but Shile with a great shot over catches onto Meriu. It was Euro we were speaking about, but it's the Jaeger to fall first.
A great shot through with a bit of information to hand, no doubt there. Yura just applying some more magnets. I love this setup, this like double shield setup. Yeah. It's like, right, when Pixel Corner gets challenged, I'm just going to dip back, but I don't have far to go, so that's it. That's his Pixel Corner burnt out now. So if he pushes onto that, he may choose to peek it, but he's doing that now. It's just getting an aggressive approach. But safety first, he can dip back, get behind his shield. He's got his reinforcement, but he's still able to aggress on with this sort of makeshift, almost mirror window setup.
Ooh.
But tell you what, those angles work both ways when there isn't an actual mirror window in the way. Des and Static finds that to get the kill onto Euro. So that now leaves us in a 4 versus 2 as Lily does manage a late trade onto Shayo.
It's taken a good while, about 2 minutes of trying to assault into Piano, but Cloud9 have got the in they need. A 4 versus 2, and they can move at some pace. Iana up to the north as well, looking to apply some pressure on the top side of Bar. Envy, who repelled in elsewhere, might find himself caught out here. C4 comes out, going to shoot it out. Now into a 1 versus 4. Light left all alone. We tend to know how these rounds play out here. Ace, a nice easy cleanup for Cloud9.
Well, I did mention the defense of top floor, didn't I? And once again, it's...
You're sick of it now, mate. You said it so many times, and it still keeps happening.
Listening. The attackers still coming in and successfully taking over that top floor. Good first round for Cloud9. I won't just write it off to the side. They did actually deal very well with the setup in Piano, taking out Pixel Corner and then just removing Euro from proceedings with that repel kill through the soft wall that he'd opened up for himself. I don't know if Euro was maybe a little bit aggressive there in sort of pushing up onto that soft wall breach, but you've got to make a move sometimes. You've got to make a play. And, if things aren't necessarily going your way, you've got to try and step up and be the one to get that kill as a catalyst for the others. And it didn't pan out that time, so that's round 1 going to Cloud9. We'll move into round 2 now. We will be defending all the way down from top to bottom. It's now into kitchen.
And in the previous round, I mean, Meru got caught out on Pixel by the long shot. It was a very patient game by Cloud9. I always get nervous when we see attacking teams on Cafe burn down about 2 minutes from the clock and they still don't have piano control. If you find a couple of opening kills like they did, great, you can get inside and get map control really quickly as the defense is spread too far thin. But if it's a 5 versus 5, you're really going to struggle to make much ingress and you're forced to push your way down through Cigar Shop, for example. Here's that one first shot that came through, the one that connects onto Meru, so sprayed down through the soft. And then the second one that came down, this one here, I was kind of surprised to see come through. I thought you'd see him playing a little bit more conservatively behind the shield, but as you say, you need to be able to step up and show that you're still present, you're still willing to challenge. Otherwise, the attackers will say, well, they're playing that passive, we've got the control we need, let's push in and start making a move forward.
It's such a tough balance to find. You know, sometimes you do sit here and you feel, you know, you're shouting at people, just stay down, stay behind, keep your cover, and then others, like you say, it just needs somebody to take that movement. And if the kill goes the other way, it's certainly never a criticism on them ones, because if the kill goes the other way, you've just swapped around and, you know, it has to happen. But OCN coming in with a great kill onto Meru. That's 2 rounds in a row that Meru is going to lose his life first. And I'm pretty sure that was the exact same method as the last opening kill, Des. Just a little bit of information and a wall bang effectively through the barricade.
It's unlucky for Meru, 2 rounds in a row, having basically 0 impact on either round. And even more painfully, he was on the leash and the one that you want to be alive later in the round to make good use of those goo mines. Challenging around Skylight and a push up red from Light almost takes 2 lives. Static and Harper put down incredibly low, but neither quite finished off. And with a fresh track on the ground, guess what? They have a good idea as to where he might be. It's actually Light down in the basement who had retreated away quite easily into Coat. And again, playing on that downstairs side of the site, he's still got to worry. They've got to get all the way down. And Cloud9, same as in the previous round, 2 entry kills. Meru first, Yura second. They're dealing with these 2, you know, would-be roamers that could give them quite a headache incredibly easily so far.
Certainly are. Lily's going to end up in an engagement here at the bottom of White Stairs. He knows that there's a man there, and as he pushes forward, he can't stop Shayol, who just moves in and gets the headshot onto Lily and just continues this reign of terror that he's pushing forward on Cafe at the minute. Straight down White Stairs, opens up that freezer wall, and with 1 minute 24 left to go, Cloud9 are making rapid progress of this round, Des.
And I mean, for Charlotte, it's a double kill. He's walked through the map, picked up 2 men by himself, and now has given them a massive numbers advantage when it comes round to the execute. So still not looking to rush it. They know they've got 70 seconds to play with here, and absolutely no need to rush and panic. But start thinking now about what that execute is going to be. Where are these final 2 defenders? What is the play that we need to make? Both are on site in roughly the same sort of position here as well. So for the side of Cloud9, it's going to be simple to pinch them, I was about to say, but MB does so from above with ease. Light is gone. JJ left all alone. This could be a flawless round.
Certainly could. I mean, he's got the Alder, he's got the diffuser down in an interesting spot, but it doesn't matter as that kill comes in from the hatch, and that is going to close things out for Cloud9, who are looking good on the attack so far. They've got themselves 2 rounds. They've cleared out the top floor. They've cleared out kitchen. Will Guts Gaming choose to go to one of those again? It looks like Bar and Cocktail. They're not going to go to Reading Des. They want to get one of these 2 that they probably see as their primary sites. They want to get one of them on the scoreboard.
You need something. If we go through 3-site rotation here and still don't find a round, then you're very worried about what the next 3 will bring. I'd imagine if this one does go against Guts, there will be a tactical timeout called, and they'll have that discussion around, okay, something really needs to change here. What's it going to be? It's interesting when you think about it, now that we're going back upstairs instead, so rather than the full 3-site rotation, that the Echo's now stepping in. Very commonly see that on something like Kitchen. Here being brought up on the top floor, we'll see just how impactful it can be. And on the attacking side, we've seen it twice today now, Ace, that Blitz coming back out once again.
Interesting. I mean, it's rare that we see it once, let alone twice in a day. So we've seen some interesting players with Blitz up on the top floor. Just drop that red hatch, charge through, see what you can do. But it's always a little bit of a gamble. So keep a close eye on Static and see exactly where he moves in this round and how he utilises that shield. Because, of course, he's bringing along a little bit of extra utility with him in the shape of the smoke grenades as well. But that's not the primary function of the Blitz. The primary function of the Blitz is to get in there and cause some disruption, essentially. Take the defender's eyes off the ball, so to speak.
I wonder if Marius just said, look, boys, it's not starting well for me. Put me on something more defensive where I can't be easily killed. In this case, the Mirror, which they may be playing downstairs. And some teams, I think Fnatic are one of the ones that love doing this, is contesting piano from below. You open up a bunch of soft flooring that leads into the cigar shop, and you can shoot through the floorboards as players try and rotate in there. You can chuck a C4 up through the floorboards into cigar shop itself and potentially catch out 1 or 2. It's a really good angle to hold, so the Mirror being committed down there to help with that defense of the second floor is a good idea. I just worry about this Blitz because he can run essentially at a Mirror window, pop it out nice and easy, and suddenly it's completely ineffective.
Yeah, you know, as you suggest, it's a very plausible counter for those mirror windows. It offers you the protection to move forward without mirror necessarily being able, or whoever's playing behind there, being able to attack you, and then you can just get that melee shot in and shatter the glass so that it's no longer a viable option for the defenders. Right now, we've still got, interestingly, Euro playing quite aggressively here, Des, inside of Piano, really pushing himself up and out of that pixel corner, but he's going to dip himself back for the time being, playing behind that utility, doesn't want to be getting caught out. He's only a minute into the round, and you really do want to deny them out of Piano for as long as possible.
I think here, I mean, with him being the only anti-utility or anti-throne utility operator, because they haven't got the Wamai in this round. He was on that previously. It's Meryu who's dropped away from the Jaeger. Euro picking it up in his stead. He won't be able to hang around here for as long once the grenades start flying in. It's a potential pressure that he's got to worry about, because the Yana playing on this south side can come up to the white corridor at any time and try and challenge him. Here we go. They're running for the blitz. Finds one with the flash, and going to be an easy kill. Static completely isolated out, and this is what we said in our first game of the day, Ace. When you've got a blitz, it's about isolating individuals, and they've done that perfectly.
Meryu the first to die once again, and Lily and Euro follow not far after now. There's going to be a nade looking to come into the washroom. The ADS will pick it up, and last man there, Light, is going to scamper away. He tries to get the headshot on the reverse angle of the skylight, but absolutely not. Shut down by Envy Taylor on the buck, who was just waiting up there, poised and ready for that fight. It's going to be JJ to do something, anything. He manages to get one. The blitz pops over, flashes, and then decides he's had enough of that fight and just runs away. JJ ultimately coming out on top of that little mini battle with Static there, but meanwhile, the diffuser has gone down. It's 3 versus 1 for the attackers. They've got presence everywhere they need it, and it's OCM once again. We've seen a number of times him close rounds out with those final kills. Right place, right time, takes down the Echo. Cloud9 3-0.
Oh, that gamble on Guts. It's not looking so hot, Ace, I'll say that much.
How did your Talon gamble work out?
It didn't, to be fair, so we'll take the 1 for 1. I think it's going to all balance out, but it weren't cast in that game, so you couldn't talk a bunch of crap for it. I love it.
I'll just bring it in now.
Why not? Raise it up now. Now, 3 rounds in the bounce for Cloud9. 2 of them, what I call the near-flawless rounds, where there's 1 or 2 kills found in the dying moments that ultimately have 0 impact in the round. They've gone down into this 5 versus 2 continuously. Interestingly, the kind of form that they had when we were at SI. Let's not forget again, #1 entry team, plus 29 out of every team there when it came to the entry, were just struggling closing out rounds, whereas here they are really putting the pedal to the metal here and going for broke in every single round. We need to see a response from Guts, because outside of those 2 kills from JJ there in the 1 versus 5, they had 2 kills across the previous couple of rounds, so it's not looking too good for them. We need to see some of these boys start stepping up and collecting kills.
We're going to be heading to Reading this time around. I did question the site choice last time out, going back to Bar and Cocktail, having lost it before giving an attempt to Reading, but this time Guts are going to bring us in that direction. It's going to be largely the same. They need to hold on to that top floor. We can see they're getting up there now, and the utility is getting deployed so that they can try to hold on to this. It'll be more east side focused likely than you maybe see the entire top floor held. There'll probably be somebody play on Pixel to begin with. It'll be a little token force in and around Washroom. They'll quickly drop back and they will just focus on that east area, because you don't need to hold on to the entire top floor. There's only the east balcony, the sort of cocktail area, that's any use for vertical angles. So if you keep hold of that, you can't really progress as the attackers then.
Yeah, the go-to default has been that double reinforcing to the storage wall, reinforcing the walls that look out across the bar from the top side of Cocktail. Some teams, I think it was BDS, actually played a man inside of storage with a rotate into bathroom. Tell you what, you're chancing fate there a little bit, Lily, but now that he knows, he won't be trying that one again. But they had, I think it was Shaiko playing inside a bathroom on the Mozzie, and he came up with a massive flank in the dying moments of the round, because they just thought, oh, well, they're all out towards the east. No one's playing deep, are they? Turns out someone was, and, well, again, saw exactly how that one worked out. That's an incredible shot coming out of OCN. Yura, you would have swore could have collected that one, but he's now 0-4 in the game, whereas OCN absolutely flying at 5-1.
Cloud9 with another strong start there, getting the opening kill, and that just gives the man advantage once again to continue this top floor push. Static, he's looking to get himself in there. He's got pings, he's got information, but he can't find a man yet. Everybody's a little bit further or behind cover right now. We've still got Light present inside of Washroom, needs to be dealt with. He's obviously got the shotgun in hand as well, which is not going to make life easy for anybody wanting to challenge him. but this is how it could be dealt with. But there we go, right on cue. Thank you, Light. Shotgun kill onto MV Taylor, and he will now just drop back and support that Eastern hold from further back.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the sort of thing, again, that Schalke would have done in the previous fixture. On the previous games where we watched those in EU, would be get the kill, then fall straight back out to the east. It's almost what some teams are starting to play with, is let's not hunker 2 or 3 down inside a cocktail. Let's have them play a bit more aggressive and just try and get cheeky with the kill. And that's a great one onto Envy. It's one of the first early kills that we've seen Guts find so far in the matchup, because commonly it has been Cloud9 getting the 2 entry kills, and then we finally start to see Guts start to move. Not necessarily stabilise or capitalise and start beating Cloud9, but at least get themselves back into it.
4 versus 4 coming into the final minute. Harper looking to just get a line of sight into the dining room there, down by the table. Won't find any shots for the time being. Seems to be plenty of information on the side of Cloud9. They're aware of where these players are located. OCN, for example, knows there's one in behind the shield there. They're aware that there's one potentially still up on the top floor. Lily just looking to get an angle, just playing very, very closely alongside his man there. And at 2 versus 2, they need to, doubling up 2 versus 2 on the corridor. They just need to be careful they don't end up with a team kill there.
Or getting flanked potentially as well. OCN turning it into a double. I think they're now rotating around to try and go for a reading plant, so rather than getting caught out in 90, for example, they have now moved themselves out towards the reading door, and that seems to be the play. Static holding, but now they've lost the vertical control. That can sting Lily, bringing one back at 1 versus 3 for Harper. Great concussion coming out as well to shut it out. Guts will finally get their first round.
Maybe that is all they needed here, but as you say, they just never really, Cloud9, got themselves in control of that top floor. The Echo was still up there and able to have an impact in that late round. You have to really focus, as the attackers, on keeping hold of that top floor, gaining control and then keeping it, because otherwise you can find yourself in sticky situations just like that. Guts able to take reading over the line. They're going to head back up to the top floor again, which makes me a little bit nervous. They may be thinking that it's largely a rinse and repeat of what they've just achieved there, but there are important differences between the two, and I'm not sure. Kitchen wasn't great for them either, so it is about comfort here. It is about what they feel that they can do the best on, but they've already lost this top floor site twice.
Yeah, 3rd time lucky.
Okay.
That's it, 3rd time lucky.
I'll go for that.
Did we see a team yesterday who was speaking about this, and they were on their 4th or 5th attempt or something? I forget. Not yesterday, sorry, on Wednesday.
There was a BDS game where BDS just attacked it repeatedly and won.
I can't remember. Like, we were speaking about the other day, some team had tried something 4 or 5 times, not necessarily in the same game, but they tried the same thing many times over and consistently failed at it, and it didn't really look to improve after the 3rd time, won't lie. So if 3rd time lucky is the kind of go-to, then you'd hope that they won't be trying it once more in round number 6. I like the setup they're coming in because I spoke about this earlier on. Earlier on it was the pixel hold, for example, the bathroom hold, the storage hold. Here it's the much more kind of out there, the more extended setup where you have the Aruni and the castle basically barricading off, as you're seeing now, Cigar Shop. Also the south window with a laser gate, sticking a mute jammer in here, a couple of ADSs, normally the smoke playing with the shotgun to make use of those canisters. The idea being that it's really hard to then take away as an attacker because they're just so entrenched and so well protected. But let's not forget what Cloud9 have got to break that sort of thing open. Going to be static on the Blitz again.
It is going to be static on the Blitz. He could be the hammer to crack that nut as the round progresses. MV Taylor's got himself up onto the rooftop quickly as the buck. He will open the hatches that are imperative to this push onto the top floor, and then he's going to get on the drone and try and give some information to his teammates. So once again, it looks like Cloud9, they're heading straight up to that rooftop. They're going to want to drop in to the top of red stairs. Static, get himself in there and just make a nuisance, no doubt. He's just checking that his coast is clear. The laser gate will need to be cleared out for him as well. He doesn't want to take a chunk of damage for the sake of trying to burst through that, so no doubt some utility will be expended. Now we've got the double laser gate, double castle barricade set up in place to try and just defend this cigar shop area. It's not something that we've necessarily seen them hold on to so tightly so far. Light in there on the shotgun, looks to make the challenge. It's a Gemini clone, don't get overexcited. We will take it down. They know that he's there. They need to stop feeding drones in now because they're not going to learn anything more from it. Light does drop down, manages somehow to escape past Shayol, who was waiting for that rotation.
Smooth criminal there, dodging out of 2 lines of fire, one onto the halfway up red window and the other one, or museum window, the other one then inside of the train window, and Cloud9 missed both opportunities for the kill. But they should have broke this open now with the Blitz in place and also covered themselves from any danger coming out of the other side because they have this castle barricade down to the south. Can opt to clear it out if they so choose. For now, apparently not going to be the case. And I think you had a C4 come singing up through the hatch, by the way. It landed just shy, so it didn't really kill anyone, but did do a little bit of damage.
red stairs control is gained. We've got Gemini Clone just moving in, trying to see exactly what's going on in Cocktail. That's going to be an absolute freebie onto the blitz stairs, and that's what happened when you don't clear out all the angles. Merio finding one, but doesn't matter. I thought that Guts might just be able to start chaining something together there as they managed to take Static out whilst he dashed into Bar, but ultimately it didn't matter because Cloud9, they were ready to pounce from elsewhere, and pounce they did.
This is normally why you have to deal with this cigar shop hold, get piano control too, as Euro just sat there for free and was waiting on bags for the charge to come through. Only found the one before he was shut down, so Cloud9 just showing the gun skill shine there. He could have found himself a 2 or a 3K otherwise if they weren't too careful. But for Cloud9, that's 4 attacks on the board. That is not a bad attacking half so far on good. Cafe. Get another one, being sat at 5-1 going into the defence. Oh, you'll be loving life.
Well, most teams would be loving life, Des. Cloud9, if you remember, have been quite ahead at the half in the last 2 play days.
Oh, the 6-0 down to an 8-6.
6-0 back to 8-6. I think it was 5-1 against Fnatic all the way back to overtime, and they did manage to win that time. But maybe they'll, maybe they just cutting a little bit off each time, and they're going to, just get sort of more and more convincing in their wins. But they've shown as a side that it is possible to reel them back in. Talk to me about Tachanka.
I know there's a buff coming in for him soon as well, so he'll have 14 rounds rather than 10, and his LMG would do a much better job, not that it needed any help to be completely honest, a much better job of opening up walls because the radius is going to increase ever so slightly to make it easier for him to do a little bit of site transformation. Personally, I think it's really satisfying watching him just kind of gattle a square into a wall and see the whole thing fall away. It's brilliant. Yeah,
it is nice. It's a nice way of opening up those rotations, just styling them out a little bit. Yeah. It just feels a bit more stylish than shotgun.
And he's going to get a shield soon as well. Because the Des basically said, playing Shanka, like, he's got this fantasy of being able to just burn something out continuously for the longest time, but at the minute, you're exposing yourself to get those angles in sometimes, unless you're a pinball wizard and can just bounce it around rooms to get it exactly where you want to, as some teams have done on maps like Consulate. But at least with the shield in play, being able to just sit there with the shield and ping these Shumikers over the shield into a space where you want to burn out, be really interesting to watch. So may see him picked a little bit more once those buffs come through, time will tell. I say that now and watch him become the most popular operator in defence, and I'll cry. As the whole world burns.
I think we're a little ways away from that, but it is just about making, each operator have their niche, have their sort of validity within potential compositions. Now we've got Guts Gaming looking to defend Bakery pretty hard. They've got 2 players in there, JJ and Light are playing in behind that Bakery counter. For the time being, Cloud9 know that they need to clear out above them. I think they're aware that there are players up there, so they have sent at least one up there. Envy Taylor is moving across, Static with him, so there's now multiple players up there looking to clear out this top floor. They'll then move down, clear mid-floor, start to get those vertical angles, but time is ticking away at 1:30.
Kind of start doing your work on the vertical destruction. I always speak about my metric for this map. 1:30, floor being opened up, that's kind of the benchmark, I think, and if you're starting at that point, you're doing just fine. Some teams, I remember Norarengo before they departed APAC North, were one of the slower teams, taking until about the 1 minute left mark to actually start opening things up, which didn't give them enough time to get the right angles set up and then to prep their execute, get things droned out, for example, whereas some teams like BDS have been there as soon as the 2 minute mark, so they can be incredibly quick, but 1:30 feels like it's the average. Still a bit of setup work on the go, and I'm keen to see when Euro starts getting these Shumikers fired out, because they could be the difference maker.
Right onto Envy Taylor with a nice vertical nitro there, and that is always the danger with playing the vertical game. You've got that exposure to explosives from beneath. A good start for Guts Gaming. They need to just really build some momentum and confidence from that and make sure that they take this round. If they can get themselves 2-4 at the half, it's still a very dominant Cloud9 half, but it maybe just gives them a glimmer of hope. JJ just flicking in between his evil eye cameras there, not spotting anybody out, just trying to provide information, but all the pressure at the minute is looking to come from that hatch into Freezer, and Yura, he starts to burn out the ground in between there and what would normally be the default plant spot, either in behind the bomb or in behind the counter at the top of your screen. He's going to make that as difficult as possible for anybody to move in. Kills rain in, 4 versus 1 now. It's all down to Shyle. He's had a great day so far, but on 1 HP, I really don't think this is going to be his day with 7 seconds left to go. Certainly not his round, at least. He's just looking to peek around that corner with the pistol. 2 seconds to go. The time will run out. He's just trying to pad his stats
Oh,
there, Des.
definitely. Definitely trying to pad it there with the pistol at the end. I mean, okay, that wasn't really down to the Monty. It did have the Chanka. The whole idea there being that from Rice at least could pop out a bunch of those Shumikers, would stop Cloud9 being so comfortable, able to easily rotate or push forward onto those playing more defensive. And JJ at range with the Maestro, double kill coming out onto those that drops inside a freezer and completely shut down the execute from there. Good round coming out of Guts. They are down 4-2, which... looking at Cloud9 at a 4-2 scoreline, you do remind me of those previous games where they have given away advantages and seen themselves slowly falling down to be the loser in those matchups. So we'll give it a couple of rounds, see how the field plays out for them. They're going to start out on the top floor. No castle, interestingly, but they are bringing along the Aruni.
This is a big round for Cloud9 now, mentally, I think. You know, given those last two games and how they've gone. At 4-2 at the half, if Guts Gaming come out here and have a great first attack and take this round, all of a sudden you're only one round ahead despite all the advantage that you've had so far. And it'll be a tough blow because then immediately I'm sure the players are going to be in their minds thinking once again, here we go again, are we going to be reeled back in? Whereas if they can get this defence over the line, they can say, yes, this is it now. We've got this sorted. We're 3 rounds clear. We just need to keep going in the direction. We're playing well today. And I think this one will be a big, big mental boost or mental detriment for Cloud9.
Absolutely. Alrighty. I mean, I said again about the lack of the castle made me a bit nervous. Normally, again, you'd pair that up with the Aruni and use it as kind of a 2 to 4 layer defense. Here, you've only got to burn through those with a couple of flashes and suddenly everything is completely exposed. So, I think for Guts, they're not going to be too worried about the fact that it's there. You've got the Habana with the 3 flashes if you want them. There's only the ADSs to deal with from Shah. There's no Wamai on side, for example. So a very spread sort of defensive variation coming out from Cloud9 that I think Guts won't feel too troubled by.
Got early aggression then towards that top floor, as will be needed. Get the hatches open, all within 30 seconds. We're getting drones in. We've got positions taken up on those window rappels. You're looking to see if you can find anybody. I think maybe a bullet or challenge. I'm not sure if it was coming out of the window or into the window then, as Euro just gets himself up onto the rooftop. We've got Harper underneath on the Goyo now. You've got to remember, Goyo has got a Nitro in hand, so could be playing for a bit of vertical denial, looking to make himself a nuisance as the push comes in towards Red Stairs and towards Piano. Now, Envy Taylor as well, getting aggressive at this point and back into Piano. And I'm not sure how much of a grip Guts Gaming have got on this Cloud9 defence right now.
I think it's very vertical, right? They're not really looking to play on the floor itself. They've got a couple hovering around downstairs below. Grenades come singing out. Shields are popped out. Things are burnt. It's one way to start chewing through those Goyo Vulcans that have been set up. But again, look at how many of them are playing on the below here. There's 2 of them hovering downstairs with the C4s in hand, I think. Harper got one of course, across on side of OCN as well. So they've got those options. It's definitely playing to deny the take coming out of Guts, but for Guts, it's making sure you've got enough time to go for the push. Look, except that you might lose someone to a C4, fine, then you've got to make the push happen, because realistically, they haven't got time to drop to the second floor here and go for a full sweep before going for the top floor execute.
Bit more drone work being done. You're getting on the drone there, just looking to try and feed. Any information possible. And you saw the desperation for that kill onto Envy Taylor then. Not going to take the reload, flip straight to the pistol. Great reflexes to at least have the opportunity to do that. But we've been picking them out all round, Des. Them Roamers underneath, not able to have the impact. That's the smoke gone. Static is out of there. And Cloud9, they're going to have to find themselves falling back to site soon. OCN tries for a Nitro from underneath, but all that's done is tell Lily exactly where the man was. If he tries to come up those white stairs, he's going to find himself getting shut down quick smart.
That's a shot and a half. OCN losing his skull for a second. Light bringing him down to a 5 versus 3. Lily into the 2K in the round, making a third. Has shut Cloud9 down on their defense. A flawless round for Guts. No one would have saw that coming, except for Ace, who's now punching the air fervently.
There's no bias here, Des.
None at all, mate. None. No.
No bias here. There is a desire to get my predictions right.
Casters, true neutrals, absolutely.
As I said, round 7 was always going to be an important round for both teams there. Now, mentally, Guts Gaming, they've been beaten up a little bit so far here on Cafe, but all of a sudden, they find themselves only 1 round down on the attack, and they've just had a great round on the attack, going flawless. You know, what a big boost that is for them, and it could really just put some wind in their sails for the remainder of this matchup on Cafe. Cloud9, however, you're now starting to think we've had the best of the first half. Are we going to struggle on that side switch? They've shown us a couple of times that they can do great on the attack, great on the defence, but you flip that side over and all of a sudden it seems to go out of the window.
Maybe. And I'm looking at the setup coming out here. They've got another shield coming in with OCN now. Bringing one, of course, the Goyo and the Smoke still present. And only the one C4, which suggests you're not going to see two players playing downstairs anymore unless you've got the Echo tucked away in a corner in kitchen or, I don't know, sat in a wardrobe somewhere just so we can make use of those Yokais later into the round. But I think you'll see a more, air quotes, conventional setup from Cloud9 where the focus is going to be on the top floor. Just completely hammer everything down here. Don't give an inch and try and hold down storage, bathroom, pixel for as long as you can. Similar to what we saw Guts trying to achieve in the early rounds of the first half.
Bulletproof camera just deployed up there on the top floor to keep an eye on that cocktail balcony, I would imagine, so that nobody's pushing in. The laser gate has been put on that door as well, so obviously some concern for Cloud9 as defenders that there could be an opportunity of somebody just rappelling in through that cocktail balcony window and looking to make a very direct Route 1 attack onto cocktail, but it doesn't look like that's part of the plan at the moment, at least for Guts Gaming. Harper is on the roam once again with that Goyo. We saw him moving around quite a lot in the last round. Didn't have too much of an impact. Right now, he's got himself set up inside of Train.
There's Harper on the downstairs. I said I don't think you'll see two playing down there, but just the one for now. Remember how Static pinched the defensive player who was on the mirror? I think it was Mariu. Got pinched out by Static on the blitz previously. Of course, no blitz on the attacking side here, but they could try and pinch it. I'm looking for here. Pinch him inside of Train, to stop that C4 being high impact once they do get inside of Piano. We're about 60 seconds in, and yes, sure, you're not expected to have Piano at this point, but I think here you're already thinking about, okay, how do we clear Pixel? How do we worry about this guy from downstairs having an impact? Because Envy's playing the same role that we saw out of Yura back in the first half.
Static just inside of Freezer there, looking to hold an angle out onto the cigar shop door. He's got a Rooney of Envy Taylor playing inside of the washroom as well. This is all positions that need to be cleared out before Guts Gaming can even think about trying to get themselves into a default plant spot. Now I think Light just feeding some information and Lily obviously waiting for that information before heading in there. Out comes the EMP grenade, and that's just going to try to take out those ADSs, which it will do for a period of time. It will disable them, and it just leaves Envy Taylor somewhat more exposed, obviously, to any nades that could rain in there. We've got the Ana dropping nades in from above.
Ooh.
Doesn't get the shield. That could be a problem. I think where the floor has been opened up beneath just captured that grenade then.
It fell slightly short through the doorway as well. Yeah, definitely didn't get the line of sight onto the shield, so stay standing its shell. Whether or not that has an impact remains to be seen. You've got Mariu playing on the downstairs here with a frag grenade in the back pocket, maybe looking to get a little bit cheeky onto Cocktail above him once he finds the right angle and is sure no one's going to be down there to frag him as soon as he tries to get the grenade out of his back pocket. 40 seconds to play with, and here we go. Will he find the man in the most default spot in the world, it feels like, at points? No, he won't. He's gone a little bit too deep there, and Charles looks around like, huh? Okay, I guess that was a thing for a moment. Might be wary of another one coming in. Doesn't know maybe that all four have been used, so we'll try and play that a little bit more passively.
JJ opening the reinforcement onto what we often refer to as Maestro spot there. It's so commonly played by a Maestro, but it will force the defender out of there. Envy Taylor still in and around that washroom and Pixel spot, finds his first onto Lily, and this is a problem for Guts. They've just never moved him. Now, in goes Yura. We did talk about that cocktail balcony push. It seems more like a Hail Mary than an actual attempt here, though, as Shaol shuts him down. He's going to get closed out by JJ, and surely not. He flips 180 and hits the shot before starting to get the diffuser down. This is going to Guts. Lights with a double, and it's lights out, Des, for Cloud9 as Guts come in and level things up 4-4. That round never seemed like it was theirs until the last 8 seconds, and then you had JJ with a huge double kill, just flipping 180, one on either side, and then Light comes in to finish things off. What a round from Guts at the end.
Mad as well, because there were so many pushes going on all at the same time. You had the rappel in, you had someone coming in close after they dropped through Skylight, for example, and that man was missed by the smoke, who I think was distracted by what was going on White. So Cloud9 just being pulled in every which direction, and Guts capitalised on the chaos. It all lining up wonderfully for them, and I think Cloud9, fairly so, after 2 rounds of failing to defend that top floor, is saying, right, boys, I think it's time we step away from that and we head downstairs and see what we can achieve.
Head downstairs, they shout into kitchen, And we've got the Kaid on the board for Harper, usually brought along to try and protect the hatches particularly. There's also a particularly nice little location that you can find for that electric claw underneath the sort of ducting, the venting system on the double wall that leads into Bakery, that just allows it to stay really well hidden even when top floor control and mid floor control is gained. It depends whether they are double reinforcing that, so we could see one of those electric claws applied there just to try and keep the Bakery push side safe. As I say, it's a real tough one to clear out because there's metal ducting that runs sort of across the wall, but then sort of along the ceiling.
Yeah.
And you just can't get underneath it. It's a dead tricky one. You've got to use explosives really to clear it out.
I'm well keen to see who the roamer's going to be that the Jackal's going to be hunting down here, because at face value you look at it and go, could be Jaeger, could be the Oryx, but we've also seen Legions play off on the roam quite a lot, so it could be on the side of Cloud9. They want to have a couple playing up on the higher floors. Right now it is OCN to be the ones that we're going to find Guts have to come and challenge. The Oryx also playing up there. And when we first saw an Oryx used in competitive play was by Na'Vi on this map, actually. It's the first time I cast a round of it. He spent the entire round lay behind bar on the top floor of this exact map whilst everyone else just pushed site, and I was like, come on, do something. Just poking him in the back like, come on, get moving. You're meant to be hopping up and down hatches, and it weren't quite happening. Either way, they'll know that these two are on the top floor. You can see already the first Jackal track coming out. And that'll force OCN to back away here. No one wants to hang around for too long when you're being constantly pinged by that red marker.
And Taylor playing in and around that washroom again. We saw him have a good impact at the beginning of the round last time out, looking to see whether he can capitalise on that position again. But he has to be a little bit more fluid, a little bit more mobile here, because he doesn't have the same utility and manpower supporting him up there. So he can't hang on to those fights quite as tightly as he might have done otherwise. Now Lily just holding a long angle there from the edge of the half roof there on top of Bakery, looking to try and clear out again this heavy mid-floor presence that Cloud9 have got. You can see there's two players there. There's one perched on white stairs as well, static ready to support. In comes the drones forcing OCN away. Halfway through the round though, and Guts Gaming still not quite in control of everything they might like to be.
I mean, think about the metric I said earlier on, about a minute and a half you want to be opening the floor inside a train, inside a fireplace, getting your angle set up inside a kitchen, because there's 3 players from Cloud9 currently roaming on that first floor. I think a few have now dropped away, but they're holding white stairs, holding around fireplace. That's the easiest in the world he's ever going to find. Don't think they were quite expecting a man to be in that position at that exact moment. Thought maybe it'd take a little bit longer for the side of Guts, but that's a great entry kill. Now they start getting the floor opened up. Yes, the clock is definitely going to hurt them a little bit, but having that one man taken down in the form of Envy Taylor is only going to help things.
It is. It just forces things to change. The defenders that are playing on the mid floor, all of a sudden you've got one less on site, so now you think, right, at least one of us needs to head back to bolster those numbers, but it's a knock-on effect, Des, because one goes back to bolster numbers, the other can't remain on their own, so all of a sudden they all have to go back to site, and this is what starts happening then. They're running into lines of sight that Guts Gaming have set up. JJ with his second on the round, 5 versus 2 now, and there is plenty of opportunity for Guts to win this one. 30 seconds left to go. JJ has diffuser in hand. He's thinking about getting that down. I tell you now, the Gemini clone goes in to find one.
Oh dear.
The stun does protect Lily for the time being inside of the Bakery kitchen, and it continues to fall apart for Cloud9 here as Merriu finds the kill onto OCN. JJ is getting the diffuser down. Surely he won't be stopped at this point. Static tries to make a challenge, but it's fractions of a second after the diffuser is confirmed that another flawless round comes in for Guts Gaming.
Up until maybe the 1 minute mark remaining, you would have been commending Cloud9 for a good roam that wasted time, that meant Guts would now have to kind of pick up the pace and maybe be forced to make a couple of errors along the way. And then they come out in the final 60 seconds and completely slam Cloud9, not losing a single man, getting themselves into a great position on red stairs to find the opener. With the man inside a kitchen therefore removed, they push in through prep, find a second, JJ hitting 2 big kills. It just felt like a cascade there. The waterfall came raining down and Cloud9 unable to do much. And the scary thing is, coming into today, I looked at the scoreboard and I thought, okay, Cloud9 are 3 points away from 4th place. Down one, Kira, I think it was sat in 4th place with 6 points. Cloud9 were at the bottom of the table with 3, and I thought, okay, a win today, that puts them right back in the mix of things with 2 days still to play. They can still definitely do top floor. They lose this game and go into future weeks and have another couple of tough games. Cloud9 might not even be top 4. And that would have been one of the most wild predictions anyone could have put down at the start of the stage, that you wouldn't see them as a top 4 team.
Honestly, seeing them outside of the top 2 would have been a wild prediction.
True, yeah.
You know, just being real about it, seeing them outside of the top 2. Let's not forget, in stage 1, they were unbeaten.
Yeah.
They were unbeaten, 7-0, top of the table. and then, I don't know, SI happened, and they just don't seem to have recovered, Des. They're slowly sort of coming back to the senses. But as I say, they've got this big problem at the minute where they can play the first half great, but at that side swap, when they try to switch that mentality, either from attack to defence or defence to attack, it just seems to be having a big impact on them.
Massively, and they've got to scramble to find the answer. They've tried the top floor twice. They've tried kitchen already. You know, where do you go? I mean, apparently the answer for them is reading and fireplace. We'll see whether or not it pays off for them. But this is what many would consider the offsite, the one that you aren't necessarily expected to win. Let's see, though, how Guts shape up against it. Honestly, that is filth.
That's disgusting.
Pure filth.
Merriu just... I don't even know what to call that. I'm going to call it quick peek in Skylight, but he's obviously had some information that the guy who is playing underneath there, Static, he can feel hard done to. That is rough. I'm going to put that right up there with the flick that Shaiko made on Spiral that time. That was just absolutely beautiful.
I mean, for Static to be dead here as well. Rough game for him. 2 and 8 across these 10 rounds. Not been the impact he would have wanted, as again the landslide continues. Cloud9 losing any footing that they once had. A 5 versus 3 feels like we're speaking about Cloud9 in the first half. Again, where we were saying Arcade 2 entry kills, they've got rid of Merriu, they've got rid of Yura, now they can press on for the win. Now it's Guts undoing exactly the same to them. OCM playing below once more, has a C4 in hand, and if JJ steps a step too far, the C4 will come singing his way. OCM being incredibly patient, but how long can you wait for when you're bleeding members on the top floor?
Well, they managed to get one back as Harper finds a headshot onto Light, and that starts the push back from Cloud9 here, looking to fight for that top floor control, but it's not going to go well as the mirror of OCN is shut down underneath by Lily, and that leaves us now 4 versus 2. Harper could have a big impact here though, Des. He gets himself up the white stairs. Envy Taylor is there as well.
The angle's been held.
I'm not sure if Guts are aware of this. Specifically, they're holding the angle for the flank, but do they know that Harper is inside of washroom right now? I don't think that they do. They need to be very careful. He steps out. He's going to miss his shots, though, and that is going to give them all the information they need on the side of Guts. And JJ gets in there. Great response to that push from Harper to get the kill, leaving them 4 versus 1. Envy Taylor has no option now but to drop back to site. There will be frost mats out there. Whether they'll come to his aid or not, time will tell, but it's unlikely at this stage. The Gon 6 opening the door so that JJ can push in closely behind it now. Then Iana does get shot down, but Lily straight in behind for the trade. Envy Taylor shut down, and that's another good round from Guts Gaming. Envy Taylor and the rest of Cloud9 unable to buy a successful defence right now, Des.
On none of the sites, and as you say, not a single defensive round won up until this point. It has been pretty one-sided. I'd say attackers, obviously across the whole map, have done incredibly well, but Cloud9 struggling to find the 2 defensive rounds that Guts picked up on their defensive side. They're going to try that site again. Don't necessarily blame them. I mean, to be honest with you, it can't go much worse than how the other 2 sites have gone so far. So why not give it another go, given how we've tried the other sites a couple of times over now as well. I'm nervous. Won't lie.
I'm not.
Of course you aren't. You'll be ecstatic if they walk away with this.
Well, you're right.
But two rounds to bounce back with is, you know, I think a big ask given how the last couple have gone.
It's a big ask right now, yeah. For Cloud9 of the first half, can they do it? Absolutely. Can Cloud9 of the second half do it? Probably not.
Absolutely
that's what we're looking at right now. Cloud9 need to show us something different. They are a team, when we look at them, you know, overall, of course, they are capable of doing it. Of course, it is possible. We've got Shayo, we've got Envy Taylor. They've both been picking up the kills. They've got 15 between them. They just need a little bit more. You picked up on Static, maybe Harper. They just need that little bit more. You know, they can't always rely on those Harper 1v4s like it was to beat Fnatic. They can't take it down to the wire like that. They can't leave it to those final rounds. Look at this. Absolutely love it. It looks so much slower in slow motion,
doesn't it? Like,
it?
it's in
I know
for an
that
age
sounds
there.
really stupid, like, but it just seems so much quicker than that in real time. Like,
that is a quote for the timeline. Oh, it looks so much slower in slow-mo.
no, I knew that you were going to say that. You know what I mean? You expect a certain pace in slow motion. That just felt like it took twice as long as it should, even in slow motion.
That is a tweet for the ages. It's definitely going on the timeline after this game.
I've not excelled myself there.
No, it's not your proudest moment, mate. I'll give you that much. However, proud moment for Guts, 6-4 match point. One more round. This one stands between them and victory over Cloud9. For Guts, who have been struggling throughout the season, Cloud9, who we thought may have found a way to bounce back, not just after the game against Fnatic, their victory at 8-7 there, but also after the first half of this map, they've got something to do. And that something is eluding them, it's eluding us, because as we said, their start of the round is always good for them. They've had good roams on the go, they've played for C4s to be ready to deny, but then as soon as the gunfight starts, as soon as the shooting starts, that's when Guts have come out on top.
So as you can hear that iconic sound of the gridlock, right? The gridlock LMG, sorry, there, just absolutely peppering in through that window non-stop. In goes the drones. I'm going to try and find a bit of information after this first minute here. We've got Guts Gaming pretty well established, ready to go in. They get themselves dropping from the rooftop in towards Red Stairs and the piano. Obviously, they're going to look for a top 4 clearance once again. They're attacking onto Reading Room. They've got Skylight being watched as Lily goes in. They know there'll be a presence out on that east side. I just don't think that Cloud9 are necessarily going to try to hold on to this maybe quite as aggressively as they did last time, because they lost men and it hurt them.
Yeah, straight away, that's Gemini coming in. I'm waiting for the day someone actually debates, and that's the real Iana that just comes dropping in and gives you a bit of a headache to worry about. But at least now they know that there is indeed someone playing behind the mirror window, although I should be questioning why on earth is there a mirror window in the first place. On the downstairs, it's OCM once again holding down here, struggling to find any success playing on the vertical. This would be a great time, but Static yet again is the entry death. I said it last round, I'll say it again. This has not been his day.
It certainly hasn't.
Oh dear.
And that's not going to help as Merriu manages to find one onto OCN, and you can just feel this one, Des. It's like a tide washing over Cloud9. Guts Gaming, they will see this through at this point. 5 versus 3, and Cloud9, they're going to need something really special if they're to turn this one and keep themselves fighting. JJ, he's just in control of that piano area now, looking to push on towards White Stairs. Need to be careful of Harper playing in and around pillars, but they're aware. They know he's there. They shut him down. It's Merriu picking up the kill this time. 5 versus 2. It's all down to the last 2, the best 2 players of the day, to be honest. Envy Taylor and Shaol, what have you got for us? What can you do now? Envy Taylor, he's holding the angle, steps out, takes a big chunk of damage off of Yura, manages to get the kill as well as Yura steps out at an inopportune moment. Shaol on White Stairs can't do it. He can't do it. And Light finds the final kill onto Envy Taylor, and Guts, they come back from 4-2 down to take this without losing an attack.
Oh man, Cloud9 being ahead and losing in the second half. Name a better duo. 2 or 3 weeks on the bounce now. We've seen it come back from being what started as a fantastic beginning for them, either towards an eventual loss or a very close one, like against Fnatic on Wednesday with the 8-7 victory, which ultimately came down to a 1 versus 4 for Harper in that game as well. Things are not looking good for them right now, Ace. First half of the rounds looks all right. Once it progresses forward towards the dying few seconds, that's when it all falls apart.
Certainly did. There's no two ways about it. 5 rounds in a row for Guts there. They won the last attacking round and then every consecutive defensive round after that. What a performance from the Japanese team. They've really put a marker down that could be the turning point of the season for them. We've seen them a little up and down so far, but very nicely done against Cloud9.
We'll give Ace his moment as the only one to call Guts walking away the victory in this game. He was absolutely correct. Let's go over to the Desto and have them break down this matchup.
Thanks so very much, boys. And as they said, yet again,